Doma Sports Talk worldwide with some news from the world of boxing. So y'all know what time it is. You ain't in a rush to get concussed, baby. Now let's talk former. What was it? WBA, WBC. Welterweight champion and Keith Thurman. Keith Thurman's what 29-1 with 22 KOs, and he was being interviewed of late. His last fight was in July of 2019 against the legend 8 division champ in Manny Pacquiao. Right? Pacquiao beats him by split decision. Pacquiao had him down in round 1 or 2 and had him hurt him with a body blow late in the fight. But at the end of the day, Pacquiao got a split decision. I think the scores were 50, 115, 113 twice, and then 114, 113 for Keith Thurman. So a close fight. No one really wanted to see the rematch, which is telling, right? But it also something that I was also saying about the fight, and I just gave up on it because I know people don't really care when it's certain names, But I was like, hey, if this is a fight with no VADA drug testing, random drug testing from VADA, it wasn't, for this fight. Pacquiao basically didn't want that. So, so Keith Thurman takes the fight. And I'm like, well, you're going to regret that. And he does. Keith Thurman now is coming out saying, he wished he would have made sure that Pacquiao and himself was tested for that fight and VADA testing. He said Pacquiao's fist felt like cement, and he lost that fight, and he didn't test during that fight. Now he knew that there wasn't going to be no testing. I think that's how the fight got agreed. But I know at that time he was feeling himself. He was undefeated, right? But then he didn't think, listen, I'm really coming off a long layoff, some injuries with my elbows and things. Better not mess with Pacquiao without no drug testing. There's a reason why Floyd Mayweather didn't want to do it. So, but I know he was feeling himself. You're undefeated. And a lot of things, when you're undefeated, you don't care. Let him, you can have all the stuff he was. The dude I rode with, Deontay Wilder. Louis the Real King Kong Ortiz is doped, and Povetkin was doped, and he still wanted to fight him, right? You don't probably want to do that. Dope means doped, not natural. You know what I mean? So you don't really want to be doing that. So how do you view Keith Thurman coming out saying, I wish that Manny Pacquiao was tested? Do you think he's making excuses, right? Do you think it's sour grapes or whatever, right? Is that what what do we think about this? So I don't think that when you're talking about drug testing in boxing, it's sour grapes. I think that everybody, and especially in these major fights, need to be drug tested, right? There can't be one on drugs and the other one not. That is unfair. Can we agree on that? That one person is not taking the drug test and the other one is, and things like that. That is not fair. So I don't think it's sour grapes. But Keith Thurman is saying that. I think people should be like, yeah, Keith Thurman, you should have had drug testing, right? The only thing you probably say is, well, you should have. It's your fault, right? Because I know at the time it's like, man, I'm gonna go take these 4 million. I've done a lot of videos about it. I'm gonna take this 4 million right here, and then whatever's clever after that, and that's what happens. But my issue is the boxing world and the so-called boxing fans that would right now be on Keith Thurman for saying this instead of on Pacquiao for not wanting to take the test. I mean, especially after we've seen that in the major fight with him and Floyd Mayweather in 2009, where he didn't want to take VADA testing then, after being offered 40 million, right? And he said he was afraid of needles. Those things. Why do we like anybody that much that we're saying he can cheat or he doesn't have to take drug testing in boxing? I'm not talking about horse racing and something. You the jockey and you on drugs. Because you ain't doing nothing no way, right? But we're hitting each other in the cranium, right? So, but that's the point. So I don't like the narrative. Like he shouldn't be talking about it, right? Now, Keith Thurman said, man, whatever. I'm about to get ready. I'm coming back. I just want to make this a sidebar right here. Is that he said, listen, he's trying to get everybody. He's like, man, he's trying to get everybody. He's trying to get Sean Porter, right? Errol Spence, Danny Garcia, the Manny Pacquiao rematch, and of course Ugas. Either one of them is who he wants. Somebody missing, ain't it? Yeah, Terrence Crawford again. I don't know why that name wasn't there again, right? Just a little sidebar there, right? And when we have a split decision, another thing is most of the time you want a rematch. No one's asking for it. I think he deserves a rematch with Pacquiao under drug testing if Pacquiao's going to keep fighting. I think that's what everyone should want. Like, hey, wait a minute, Pacquiao didn't take a drug test? Okay, cool. let them fight again with drug testing. I've been saying that for the longest, but for some reason you can't say that. I don't like the fact that some people can be cheated on, or we don't like fairness, right? Let's just be fair here. And when the commission, I was thinking, when you got Glovegate with Deontay Wilder and Glovegate gloves being tampered and things like that. And the commission always comes out. They always say things like, we were there checking and whatever. But the commission has never caught anybody doing anything, right? They have a 0% catch rate, right? So when it comes to drug cheating and messing with gloves or whatever, because he was talking about this cement in the gloves and people saying, well, it can't be done and this and that. It can always be done because everyone who's been caught has not been caught by the commission. They've been caught by the trainer from the other boxer pretty much every single time, right? So there you have that. I don't want to harp on this too long. I just think if Keith Thurman comes out and says he wishes he would have tested Manny Pacquiao, I think 85% of the population should be like, well, yeah, you should have. And let's have a rematch or something like that where there is drug testing. There shouldn't be people that we can say, hey, you don't have to take a test, but then go into a major fight. That almost doesn't make sense, right? So let's see what the people think about that one. I'm with Keith Thurman on this. Yeah, dog, you should have took drug testing with Manny Pacquiao. If you about to get in here with a legend that ain't no joke, yeah, you should have. But then again, the 4 million is doing you well now too. So let's see what happens. Thurman Sports Talk worldwide, and I'm about to here, y'all.